Shalom, good morning, everybody. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to Raya and Mordechai for broadcasting this shir. This shir is because it's the first shir that I'm giving after I was diagnosed with corona. Baruch Hashem, I'm feeling much, much better. Still have a way to go. But today is Yud Shevat. Yud Shevat is the anniversary, the 72nd anniversary since the passing of the previous Rebbe. And on the same day, our Rebbe assumed leadership of Chabad. It took a year until it was full-fledged, but for all practical purposes, the Rebbe became the Rebbe right away. 72 is also a very special number. It's 4 times Chai, and so it also is the numerical value of Chesed. Chesed means kindness. And so I decided that I wanted to make this special effort today on doing a shir, even if it might be a little shorter than usual. But it's such a special day that from my quarantine over here at home, I really, really wanted to do this year. And so today, the main focus of today's day, Yud Shevat, is the Mimer, the Hasidic discourse of Bati Lagani that the Rebbe recited. At the first Farbrengen, which was on the first anniversary of the passing of his father-in-law, he made an interesting comment. The Rebbe said that it's customary here in America to make a statement. When you have something, you want to proclaim something special, make a statement. Without a statement, then it doesn't really work. That's how it works in America. And so the Rebbe said that his statement was that there are 3 levels of love: love of Hashem, love of the Torah, and love of a fellow Jew. And they all go hand in hand. They're all one. That's a statement that the Rebbe made amongst many other interesting anecdotes that the Rebbe shared at the Farbrengen. And so I want to share with you the point of the Bati Lagani. And Bati Lagani literally means I've come to my garden. It's a quote from a verse from Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon. Bati Lagani achoti kala. I've come to my garden, my sister, my bride. This is in the name of Hashem. Hashem says this to Am Yisroel: you are my sister, my bride. Hashem is the Chatan, the groom, and we are the Kala, we are the bride. And Hashem says, Bati Lagani, I have come to my garden. When have I come to my garden? When Hashem created the world, there are a few times when Hashem said, Bati Lagani achoti kala. Number 1, when Hashem created the world, Hashem came to the world, so to speak, and shown his infinite countenance onto the world. Hashem recited, look, I've come to my world. The world is a garden. Then afterwards, there were 7 generations of sins, ever since the generation of Enosh, until the lowest part, when Avram came along and recognized Hashem. That started the ascent of when the Shekhinah, the divine presence, actually it's not the ascent, it's the descent. What happened was that in the beginning, the Shekhinah was right here. Hashem created the world. It was a perfect world. The divine presence was here. But through each of the 7 generations of sin, it pushed away, so to speak, the divine presence higher and higher until the 7th heaven, which is the highest heaven. And then the Shekhinah came back down, starting from Avraham Avinu. The divine presence started to come back down into this world. And it got closer and closer. And when did it actually come into this physical world? Through Moshe Rabbeinu. He was number 7. You have Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Levi, Kahat, Amram, and Moshe. Moshe was the 7th generation. And Moshe brought the Shekhinah, the divine presence, down into this world. As we have this week, last week we had the Yetziat Mitzrayim, the Exodus of Egypt. This week we read about the Kriyat Yamsuf, the splitting of the Sea of Reeds. And next week, Yitro, finally, we talk about the Shekhinah coming down through Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah on Har Sinai. Then, of course, 40 days later, unfortunately, Am Yisrael could not control themselves, at least some of them, or the Erev Rav. And the Shekhinah went back away, 7 generations. And until it came back down, another 7 generations, through Shlomo HaMelech, and Hashem built the Beit HaMikdash. So each time the Shekhinah, the divine presence, comes down into the world, the Hashem says, Bati Lagani, wow, this is amazing. I feel so great. I'm back here into the world. This is where I belong. Yes, believe it or not, the entire world, all the spiritual worlds are not enough for Hashem. Hashem wants to be specifically here in this world together with us. And the Rebbe's message was that Bati Lagani Achoti Kala, the Rebbe being the 7th leader of the 7th the leader of the 7th generation, which is our generation, beginning from the Alter Rebbe. So the Rebbe sees it as his job to bring the Shekhinah back into the world with the 3rd Beit HaMikdash. That was the exact message of the Bati Lagani. Now, in the original Bati Lagani, I have to say that someone share on this Mimer of Bati Lagani, because the Bati Lagani that we just explained in a nutshell really refers to the Mimer which the previous Rebbe distributed before his passing. And the Rebbe used the same Mimer, the same basis of this discourse for his own Mimer. In the original Mimer of the previous Rebbe, which by the way was said, I believe in 18 in Tufshin Yud, just trying to figure out the 1922, but he re-edited it in 1950 before his passing. And so in that original discourse, there were 20 paragraphs. So starting from 1951, since the Rebbe said his first Mimer, he explained each year, he explained another paragraph. And so even now that we don't have a Mimer for this year from the Rebbe, we learn, because it's the 12th Mimer, we talk about there are cycles of 20 years. So it's 1951, starting from 1951, 1971, 1990. Okay, so just to repeat again, the Rebbe started to explain the 20 paragraphs beginning in 1951, then 1971, 1991, 2001, and 2000 and... Not 2001, 2011. And then now, 2022, we're up to the 12th paragraph. So it's customary amongst Hasidim today to learn today the Mimer that the Rebbe would have said, explaining the 12th paragraph of the previous Rebbe's Mimer. You can also look it up online, the Mimer that the Rebbe said in 1962, and the Mimer that the Rebbe said in 1982. So just in a nutshell, just to share with you, the point that the Rebbe discussed in this Mimer, which is based on the 12th paragraph of the previous Rebbe's Mimer, is that Hashem is the ultimate commander-in-chief. Like we talked about also last week in the Parsha, that Am Yisroel is called Tzivot Hashem when leaving Mitzrayim. The army of Hashem. So Hashem is the commander-in-chief. Chief is the one that decides how much to invest in war or in anything that the king needs to use. So let's say we're talking about something that the king wants to spend, which is a rational thing. For example, he wants to conquer a certain country in order to receive its spoils. So he'll make a calculation. It's worthwhile for me to invest an X amount of money because the spoils of this, or the oil of a certain country, or whatever it is worth an X amount of money. So I will invest a certain amount of money, a certain amount of resources. But then you have another scenario where the king wants to just broaden his kingship. And so there's no dollar amount or shekel amount. He just wants his own being to be more royal, more majestic, more accepted on a greater part of the world. So he wants to go conquer different parts of the world. For such a war, he's not going to hold back any resources. He's going to he's going to tap into the precious, he's going to tap into the precious otzarot, which is the precious chambers that he's hid, all that his grandfathers, the other kings, have kept a tremendous amount of wealth, and he will literally, if he needs to, he will literally empty it out in order that he should be a greater king. And obviously all of this is a mashal, is a metaphor for Hashem. That Hashem is willing to give all of us all of the resources in order that we should win the war. What's the war? The war is bringing Mashiach and building the Beit HaMikdash. When once again we will be able to say, Hashem will be able to say, Bati legani achoti kala. Wow, I've come to my garden. I've returned to my garden, my sister, my bride. And this is something which is priceless. Even the higher worlds, listen to what we're saying now, it's unbelievable. Even the higher worlds of Keter, Atzilut, the Sfirot, are all considered to be, in a sense, having a specific price. But when you say Hashem opens up all of his treasures, that refers to the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof, which is totally, has no limitation whatsoever. It doesn't even have a limitation of those higher worlds that cannot come into our world. Even that limitation Hashem doesn't. Hashem doesn't have any limitation. And Hashem is willing to pour out, to share with us, not only with the angels and with the great neshamot that are in the higher worlds already, but with us. We are the human beings here in this world. Why? Because we are the foot soldiers. The foot soldiers might be the simplest ones, but we are the ones who are going to accomplish, are going to bring about the ultimate revelation of Hashem in this world. And everything is worth it. It's worth all of in Hebrew it's called bizbuz ha'otzarot. It's not just giving the treasures, but giving it in a way that it's almost like wasted. Like just go in and everyone take whatever you can. Hashem gives plenty, kochot, energy to all of us in order that we, in the final moments of the galut, should be able to accomplish this. So let's hope, Ezrat Hashem, that we will fulfill our mission very, very soon. Halavai today. Today is a very auspicious day, as I started saying in the shir, that today is the day of the passing of the previous Rebbe and the day that our Rebbe assumed upon himself leadership of Chabad. So let's do extra mitzvahs today. Use the opportunity to share a shir with a friend online, in person, to do a farbrengen, to do a special mitzvah, tzedakah, a learning Torah, tefillin, Shabbos candles, to share the idea with a friend, another woman, that she should be prepared for this coming Erev Shabbat, and we should hope that Bezrat Hashem immediately today we should have the third Beit HaMikdash, and Hashem will say, Bati legani achoti kala. Thank you so much for joining us, and everyone that needs should have a refuah shlema. Be well.